Initiating System 1.
God created man, and Colt make them equal. Well, that's a nice little term, especially for a gun. But
System 1 loaded.
this one is well known. Suppose you just want to go old school, huh? Want to use a 45 Colt rather than anything else? Well, at least they have the luxury to have it in here. Today, we're going to be reviewing the M1911 45. The M1911 pistol was made by John Browning, and its manufacturing was made by Colt and was made in 1911. It's regarded as one of the pioneers of self-loading pistols, because back then, self-loading pistols were a godsend compared to revolvers. But the US military wanted a weapon that was reliable and had killing power, and said nothing more than a 45 would do. The challenge was accepted. Colt, John Browning, along with 5 other companies, tested pistols for the sidearm contract, and after a continuous amount of years, another test was conducted. They would have to use 2 days of continued fire. The Colt was extremely successful, and after 6,000 rounds equipped, it had no jams compared to the others. It was used immediately in 1911 and was used in all kinds of wars, especially the major ones like World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. The weapon was replaced controversially by the M9 pistol in 1986 due to supply and lacking kill power. But the weapon is still being used by several countries today and by self-defense, and is still considered to be one of the best inventions made by man. Damage-wise, you'll see this weapon lacking. It has the same damage of that of the US P45 and that of the M9. It does 3 to 5 shots in the body in order to kill, 2 in the head and 4 at a distance. Your range, however, is a little bit decent, at 8 to 22 meters, and your penetration ability, however, is going to be low, like most of the pistols included. The rate of fire, however, is about the same as most of the other semi-automatic weapons, and with all the pistols, or at least most of them, at 1200 rounds per minute, and with double tap equip, it will be a monstrous 1621 rounds per minute, even though that would be considered overkill. With your hipfire, however, it is going to be around low to average. Not much compared to a SMG, but it's a little bit higher than most of the pistols, but it's still usable when it comes to point-blank range. Recoil is low, like most of its peers, like the M9 and the US P45. Your aim time is pretty swift, at 100 milliseconds, and your switch times are about the same as all the other pistols, at 450 milliseconds going down, and 250 milliseconds going up. And like all the pistols, you move at the lightning speed of 100%. Unfortunately, when it comes to magazines, the comparisons end. It has one of the weakest magazines when it comes to the category, at 8 rounds. But your starting supply, however, is a little bit more compared to the other pistols. You have 24 in your reserve, and in total, with the 8 rounds that you have in your gun, makes it up to 32 rounds. Your reloads, however, are about the same as the M9, at 1.63 seconds. Usually, using a pistol-only class is a bad idea, so we're going to be using it with a weapon as well, another weapon at least, and we're going to be using it as a bruiser class, a very aggressive class, making sure that we can get close and getting aggressive. We are going to be using tactics, power, and we're going to be fighting till our last breath. For our primary weapon, we are going to be using a weapon that is good at close and medium range, and the AK-74U is no doubt a very good choice, especially when it has a good rate of fire and a good recoil that can deal with medium range opponents. You can pull out your pistol and finish off enemy fighters along with it. But we are going to be using no attachments on either of the weapons. The AK-74U has really good iron sights, so an optical is not really recommended. And with the suppressor, it's not really recommended as well, unless you're going for a stealth build. But for the M1911, we are going to be keeping our loud and proud power along without using a suppressor as well. First up in perks, Special Grenade times 3. With Special Grenades times 3, you get 3 Special Grenades, including Flash and Stun, but you can't equip it with Smoke unfortunately. But with Stuns, you can easily toss them quickly and you'll be disorienting your opponent, but they will still see you somewhat. The Flash is a little bit slower, but your enemy can't see you entirely, but they can move pretty around the same base of the speed. But it all depends on your preference, but we are going to be using them to stun enemies in houses, corners, or in objectives to secure a quicker kill. But if you are concerned about supply, then no doubt Bandolier can be a very good choice too. Next up, Stopping Power is also recommended, not just for the AK-74U, because it already has good damage, but for the M1911 due to its short magazine. With 8 rounds, you will be only be killing one person before doing an entire reload. But with Stopping Power equipped, you'll be able to kill people within 2 to 4 shots instead of 3 to 5. So you'll be able to kill maybe 2 people before reloading, or even 3 if you're lucky. But another really good choice if you want endurance is Juggernaut. It will increase your health slightly and you can easily get a kill much more easier if you're going to be going against an enemy head on. But either or is depending on your preference. Lastly, we are going to be using one of the most infamous perks, Last Stand. With Last Stand, once you take enough damage, you'll be falling down into a prone position, and that you'll be able to pull out your secondary weapon, which will no doubt be the M1911. And you'll be able to shoot people while you're on the ground, but you can only take a little amount of damage before dying out. This is more like a coup de grace or a little bit of payback. If you do that, you'll be able to kill 1 or 2 people before eventually dying out, and the person will be given a free kill sadly. But that's how the perk works. If another person kills them besides the person that brought you down, then they'll be awarded with an assist. But this is pretty good if you're wanting to extend your kill streak for a little bit. But this is not really good when it comes to medium to long range, as you'll be absolutely worthless with your pistol. The M1911 has moderate damage, much like most of its peers, so you're going to be pretty good when it comes to killing people within 3 to 4 shots. But with this weapon, you also have a fast rate of fire like most of your pistols, which isn't surprising. But it's pretty good when it comes to close range encounters, especially if your primary weapon is out of ammo. It has a decent range, somewhat. You'll be able to kill people with 4 shots more than that of the other 2 pistols. But it also has more magazines than that of the other 2 pistols as well, as I'm referring to the M9 and the USP-45. Unfortunately, the USP-45 and the M9 beat the M1911 when it comes to magazines. The M9 has 15, the USP has 12, while the M1911 only has 8. You'll have to suffer with constant reloads, and it's pretty poor when it comes to other ranges, including that of medium to long range. Overall, this weapon, it's okay, but there are other options, due to it having the same damage and the supply of the M9 and USP-45. But it does have some decent range and has a little bit more ammo along with it. So if you want to go a little bit old school, then the M1911 45 is no doubt a good choice. The weapons pioneer after the M1911, but no doubt this weapon has lived for a century for a good reason. So, if you want to show your enemies some old school lessons, then equip the M1911 45 and show them why you are the pioneer of pistols. Thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to share, like, favorite, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And be sure to look at my Twitch and Facebook page down below. And for our next episode, we are going back to the assault rifles, in which we'll be reviewing the G36C. Until then, GalacticStorm saying, keep charging, bitches.